It is officially springtime, second day of spring right now, and I'm going to be putting my first plants in the ground. Actually, no, that's a lie. I have peas in the ground that I started inside. But my first batch of cold crops into the ground. This morning, it was a lovely 31 degrees when I woke up, and rather than heading straight outside, spent a lazy morning looking at all of my little seedlings, watering them, and then starting more seeds in the kitchen. Finally starting my tomatoes. Feeling a little behind on the tomatoes, but given the last 2 years of my observations, I've started them too soon. And I made a little bit of mess in the kitchen, which made me wish I had a greenhouse. But it's almost in the 40s, so let's get these in the ground. Now, I've laid out my garden kind of by type of vegetable. Mainly in the fact that I've got these wires already set up, so as soon as I plant these, I'm going to be covering them because these are all brassicas that I'll be planting in this bed and the bed behind me. And rather than trying to interplant with companion plants to deter cabbage moths or spraying things like BT, I found that the only real good thing I can do is put a net over them. And then in making videos like this, where I'm just in my garden, planting things, talking about it, I always wonder if people find value in these types of things. I try to sprinkle in little facts and things that I know about things that I've worked on, or worked with, that have worked, or that doesn't make any sense at all. Maybe I need a second cup of coffee. But I just always ask myself, like, do people like these? So if you like this style of video of just coming along with someone gardening, please do let me know. So what I've planted so far right here are cabbages. So I have 4 golden acre, 2 Copenhagen market, and then 4 red acre cabbages. I would have liked more Copenhagen market cabbage, but the seed I have is 3 years old, and I think I only put probably 2 little seeds, maybe 3 per cell, and the germination rate has clearly dropped on those. So if I use them again next year, I'll probably load the cells up with whatever seed I have left, because things like brassicas tend to decline pretty rapidly as far as the germination rate. And then down through here in the center, since my netting is, going to be taller in the middle, I'm going to put 2 different types of broccoli rabe, which are my wife's favorite. Let me get these Napa style cabbages out of the way. These soil blocks. I really like soil blocks for a lot of things. I'm actually using a few more containers this year than I have in the past, because I'm just planting a whole lot more. But I do like soil blocks. But I've got a sweet bunch and a spring rabe. Both of these came from Johnny's. I have in the past tried to grow more heirloom variety of these, but have not achieved the results that I'm used to seeing, or at least buying, like the farmer's market. And I can only assume at the farmer's market they're using an improved hybrid variety and not heirloom genetics. One bed of brassica is planted, and always when I'm planting, I look at it and it's like, oh man, there's so much more space. But I have to remind myself, these are all gonna grow, they're all gonna fill in, don't pack in too many. And then you see I've got tape here on the edge saying which each of these varieties are. I'll go back and actually make better little labels, but I just pull this off from the side because when I'm soil blocking, I put a little piece of tape, write what it is. So as I transplant them, just take that piece of tape on the side and then go back and make a label, because that Sharpie will break down. I think I'm going to slowly lose my voice and layers of clothing in this video. But next, onions. These are onions that I started inside from seed the first week of January, now ready to plant out. There are a lot of onions in each one of these cells, and I'm just gonna plop them out and then tease them apart. Pretty easy. It's easy to grow onions from seed. And this bed right here, where I'll be planting these onions, which are early Texas grano. I'm also going to be doing strawberries. So I'm going to do onions down through the middle, strawberries on either side. I don't have my strawberries in yet. I ordered them from Fedco. But yeah, these just tease apart real easy, especially if you've got a nice soil planting mix. Like, just dust that off and boom. Let me get these planted out. Three different types of onions planted. I still have more that I need to find space for. A leek, a bunching onion, and then just chives that I started inside. I'm probably going to direct, so I feel that that works a little bit better. But I've got my two beds started here. This one is full. This one I've got more stuff started, so I'll do a little successional planting. And then right here, so I direct sowed things over here. I've got arugula kind of in this little corner, kohlrabi. I did this all last week. These are radishes. Did a greens mix that I just got for free. Under this cardboard is carrots. Started carrots and using the cardboard to keep moisture in there because they need to stay nice and moist. I have my peas down here, and this year I did something different with my peas. I started my peas inside. I've always heard that you need to direct sow peas. They don't like to be transplanted. I didn't let them get that big, but the reason I did it this way is that I've had in the past problems where my peas would come up and then some little insect would just mow them right down. But once they were, this tall when I planted them out, nothing has touched them, so they've been fine. So I don't know if it has helped or I no longer have that pest problem as my garden has matured. I kind of talked about that in my last video about problems that influencers have, garden influencers, that I'm going to lump myself in there, that they do something and then they think that that's the reason. I think that that is the reason, but I don't want to say that is totally it. Now I've got more stuff started. Half this stuff will go in this bed. This bed right here is the first bed that you see when you kind of walk into my garden. So I want this one to be nice and pretty. So have lots of different colors and heights and variety. Here you can see, look at this lovely kale that I've got going on. Planted that in the fall and it overwintered beautifully. I have turnips started here that are just now starting to pop up. This is a type of purple broccoli that has to overwinter before it'll start making heads. A different type of curly kale that didn't do as well. And a Swiss chard that just refuses to give up. I didn't mean to say that. And then here are all my native plants that I've started. A lot of different native plants. Every single one is a different species of native plant. Over here I've got my alpine strawberries. This is where I planted some of those onions. This is a white alpine strawberry on this lower third tier. And then in these, eventually, this is where my sweet potatoes are going to go. But I've planted one out with some spinach, and then I'm going to do bok choy and other greens that I will harvest before mid-end of May, when that's probably when my sweet potatoes are going to go in. So that's most of these beds. And oh, then there's this bed right here, which gets shaded out because of this wire trellis. So I will might throw some kales in there, some sorrel that starting inside. I'll also try to do some direct seeding and see if there's much benefit there. And also cucumbers will go on this trellis. That's a lot of this garden. Well, I guess let me just, once it's warm enough, beans will go here on this, and I'm going to add more down through here to do beans. Probably have some sort of crop going under it to cover the soil. I've got several artichokes started, so some artichokes will go in there, and then I've got a little front bed along the side that I may put fennel in. That area tends to get wet, so hold on to a lot of moisture because it's all on the slope. So I might need to see if fennel can deal with wet feet or not. But that's how the garden is going right now. I'm excited for spring. What are you doing in your garden right now? Maybe you're up north and you're doing nothing in your garden. Maybe you still have snow on the ground. I'm sorry. I do not mean to make you jealous. Or maybe you're down in Texas and your garden, your spring garden has been planted out for several weeks now. Let me know in a comment down below, and I will see you on the next video. My name is Tyler Lloyd, and I wish you the very best. Later.